What is up, YouTube? It's Coffee, back with an update, man. When Matthew Perry, the news broke the other day that he had passed away, drowned in the jacuzzi, we all had so many questions. It sounded a bit sketchy, some aspects of it all, to everyone out there, as far as everyone that was tapping in with Coffee. But we have some updates at this point.
Shock and sadness. That has been the reaction from Hollywood and from fans to the death of Matthew Perry. Police here in Los Angeles say that they're investigating his death, and this is according to a law enforcement source that spoke to CNN. They responded to his home at 4:10 p.m. local time on Saturday, and the Los Angeles Fire Department also telling CNN that the 911 call came in at 4:07 p.m. for a water rescue emergency. The Los Angeles Times is reporting that he died in an apparent drowning accident at his home here in LA, and they cited a law enforcement source saying that no foul play is suspected. Now, we are, of course, waiting for more details on what happened, but let's talk about him. We know he developed a love for acting in his teenage years. He started with smaller roles and eventually landed higher profile roles, but it was being cast as the very funny and sarcastic Chandler on Friends that made him so famous. Off screen, the actors became as close as their characters on the show, and they famously negotiated together to become some of the highest paid actors on television at the time. Now, despite the joy he did bring to audiences on camera, he said he struggled with addiction and eventually was able to share those struggles with his fans in his book. And he said he wanted to share those struggles, not just in his books, but in many interviews, because he wanted to help people.
So you see authorities still saying no foul play. And what seemed a bit out of it to me in the beginning was he drowned in a jacuzzi. It just, with the background of substance abuse, it sounds like something of that extent had to be involved, but nothing was found on the scene. And we saw the recent posts of him chilling in his jacuzzi at his crib, and the authorities showed up very, very quick. 4:07 the call came in, 4:10 they responded. Like, that's ludicrously fast, ludicrous in a good way, you know what I mean? But it seems, I'm guessing that the jacuzzi must have been in a, maybe I'm wrong, but this is my guess, that the jacuzzi was in a common area where other people, you know what I'm saying, in the building, maybe one of those expensive apartment buildings, could use it as well, and they found him like that. And basically you see what the reports indicate, that the man that found him got his head up out of the water, called it in, but he was already deceased when the responders got there. So it's a situation where he was pronounced dead at the hospital, but he was already dead, man. So, we got these updates, but still at the end of the day, we're all wondering, and the whole world's wondering, what the fuck happened, that he drowned in the jacuzzi. What made him lose consciousness? Was there some substances involved? Did he have a stroke or a heart attack or something like that? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see until more news comes out. But I'm just taken back a bit by all of this. Once again, anyone that's been following this channel, I didn't know he had this addiction problem. Many people were like, yo, Coffee, he's been very open and candid about it. He was getting dumb high all over the set of Friends, everywhere. And you heard what they were talking about, big money. That's where he got his break. That's where pretty much everyone that was on Friends got their break, was that show. I was saying recently, I believe Jennifer Aniston is the most successful from that cast still to this day. But, we saw Schwimmer do some other roles and stuff like that. That Joey dude got some other shows, Courtney Cox. But Chandler, those Hitman movies with Bruce Willis, the whole 9 yards, the whole 10 yards, or whatever they were with the sequel, I thought those were pretty good. He did some other roles as well, but it all came from Friends, where he became a star and was able to cash in and get that money. And, that's what's so wild about life. All of us on this journey have our goals and things we want to do, and, success and money very often is a part of that all, because some people want to get that bread and floss, and, you know, money equals success, and some people just want to get by. But, you know, money in this society we live in, you need it to push on. But Friends is where it all happened at, you know. And then when that show actually made history, I remember when it was getting picked up by networks for syndications, you know, where they run reruns. They negotiated, like you heard them in this report talking about negotiations, how when they re-upped for more seasons of Friends, the cast got together and was like, yo, we need to get paid right. And they did that. And that's exactly what happened when it went into syndication as well. I believe at the time that happened, they were like the top, that series was like the number one, where you get the residuals for the show continuing to air, as most cats do. You know, it's part of the contract. It's something you never want to sign away if you're an actor. Just like if you're a music artist, you never want to sign away your publishing and masters and stuff like that. But you know, in a guy like Matthew Perry's career, we see that money started to come in and his problems started to get bigger, you know, because he had those demons getting high. And again, I was unaware of it, but I like what he said here when he spoke about when he found it was time to get clean.
Well, everybody knows Matthew went through a life crisis and really inspired a whole lot of people, actually, when you revealed your addiction and you got a lot of help. I thought that was really amazing that you had the courage to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saved you.
You know, it actually has very little to do with courage at first. It's really it's kind of a life or death kind of situation. So what saved me was finally getting a little bit of clarity in my life and realizing that this was it. If I keep living my life this way, there isn't going to be any life. So you ultimately kind of, I guess the key word is surrender, and you realize that you need help. So you finally ask for it, and you realize the Matthew Perry plan sucks.
Yeah.
So you know.
Was it hard to see a friend in trouble? Yeah. For you guys, David?
Yeah.
Watching a friend in trouble?
It was really, it's really hard.
Yeah. And I think I'd read that you'd said this, Matthew, that you knew that even though there were other people trying to help save you, that you knew you had to hit your own personal bottom.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, you've been able to see in the last half hour how wonderful all these guys are.
Yeah.
You know, and these are the people that I work with. You know. But it really is for anybody out there struggling. You need to realize that it's time to do something about it, because you're so closed off to everything. So the most loving group of people who are saying every day, you know, we love you, can we help, doesn't really work until you realize
Until
you have
hit it yourself.
Yeah.
And is there a moment, or are there a series of moments?
For me, there was a moment.
There was a
but
moment.
There was a moment where you just kind of, it's kind of like God just kind of opens a window or shines a light on your situation for one split second.
Can you tell us what it was, or is it too personal?
The actual details of it are too personal, but it was, I mean, it hit me like a flash. It was like, oh, look what I've been doing for the last few years of my life, and now it's that has to come first before anything. Mm-hmm. So that's why I walked off a movie set and I stopped doing everything to
pull it together.
Go pull it together with help from people who are much smarter than me about this.
Because the Matthew Perry plan
Sucked.
Yep. Got that.
So that was some time back on the Oprah show. Don't get me started on Oprah, y'all. We know, especially on this channel, we've highlighted some shady stuff about Oprah. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about, you know, him promoting his book. What was this, back 03, 04? And he was talking about his addiction, and he had just dropped another book recently. But I like what he said here, man, because, you know, so often people like to glorify things in addiction and getting high and partying and struggles, even though it ain't nothing to highlight. Like, yeah, maybe we can look back on it and laugh and joke, but some people like to glorify this ish, like they think it makes them cool or like they're a movie star. And I liked here we have a guy that was a TV and movie star, and he didn't glorify ish. He was like, yo, it was life or death. You know, I had to hit bottom. It didn't matter who was there to help me. The years flew by, and anyone out there who's had substance abuse issues, you know how that can go. You're like, man, I got to get it together at some point. And then next thing you know, you're 5, 6, 7, hell, maybe 10 years, a decade in. And you heard him, it was life or death. His plan sucked. He hit his bottom, and he pushed on and got clean. But, you know, still, we got to wait for them updates to find out what had him drop dead and drowned, lose consciousness, drowned at the age of 54. Stay tuned. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what you guys think about everything we touched on in here, success, addiction, all that. It's coffee. Subscribe. Stay tuned for more, y'all. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.